We are back to work on the FC RX7 today. If you didn't see the last video, we got a lot of work done, fabbed some stuff, wired some stuff, got it running. We need to finish up the wiring, tidy up a bunch of odds and ends, get the radiator in, a bunch of other little stuff like that. And the goal is to drive it out of here. So I'm gonna hold myself to that. Don't plan to end this video until it's driving out of here, whatever that takes. So yeah, we've got a lot of miscellaneous stuff, like the floorboard's kind of busted through where the seat bolt should go for the seat rail. So I'm gonna weld that up, weld that back up, radiator in, like I said, lots of stuff. We got lots of fun stuff to do, filling with fluids and driving. It shouldn't be too much work, I'm hoping. Based on what I know I need to do, it really shouldn't be too bad. So let's get started. All right, so first we gotta measure, figure out how big of a piece we need here. It's like 6 by 3 should work good. I have some 3-inch wide flat bar, so I'll just cut a 6-inch piece. Patch that up. Guess I should probably patch this up too, huh? Cut an 11-inch piece, or should I cut a 6-inch piece and a 4-inch piece? We're gonna do that because this is not straight. Probably gonna have to pull the seat bracket out. All right, now we just need to clean this area up and get it ready for swelding. Something tells me this isn't gonna be easy. I almost feel like I'd be better patching it from the bottom, but it seems more logical to patch it from the top. We'll see. Let's get the pieces in here, clean up whatever else we need to. That should work good enough. Yeah, it should be good enough to patch it. Batteries are dead. All right, got new batteries in the welding helmet. Try this again. Looks like we need a little more heat. Alright, now I just gotta drill this hole. Alright, seat's in, both bolts are in the back. I've still gotta put the nut on the inside one. It's just kinda hard to get to because all that frayed metal is underneath it. So we'll have to do that once it goes back on the lift, but next we need to move to engine bay stuff. I wanna try to figure out my valve train cladders. So I'm gonna pull the valve covers off, check the push rods, the valve train, the rockers, like everything under there. So let's get to it. Alright, well nothing looks out of place in here. Not much slop in the rocker arms. Push rods seem okay. I guess we'll pull the rockers and check out the push rods. Got oil. Not really anything coming out of the top of it though. None of the seats look worn out. Oh. Look at that one. That one's got a ton of rust on it. Can you see that? I think it's F. Let me go see if the ones I have are the right size. All right, I'm gonna swap these out. Well, I'm gonna swap out the rusty ones, which are all back here. It's kind of concerning. Guess just some water sitting back there, maybe. It's rusty too. They're all pretty rusty, honestly, except for like the front couple. I think I have another set of rocker arms. You can see there's rust on these rocker arms too, so I'm gonna swap those as well. Aha! This is why it sometimes pays to save your parts. I know these are out of my Gen 4, which is the L33 that's in the Miata. Try to throw these in. Definitely a good thing to check. Make sure these got good and tight, because if they rattle loose on you, you'll hear noises like I'm hearing. So I don't want to overlook that. That's for sure. All right, let's put this side back together. Check out the other side. Also, while we're here, we can get rid of these silly racing plug wires. I got some just stock AC Delco ones to put on here. I'll have to swap those heat sleeves over at some point, but for now, I just want to get these on, get it running again, and see if we fixed our issue with the new rockers, so we will deal with that later. But definitely gonna have to do it on these, because they come real close to the header here. But these like actually snap in, those other ones just sucked. Like they just would fall right off. Like that would be terrible. I feel like that would just come disconnected every time you're drifting. Anyway, I prefer OEM stuff. I mean, there's people making 1,000+ wheel on like 200,000 mile plug wires. You know, you don't need freaking racing plug wires for an LS. It's just not necessary. Okay, ran over. Let's do the other side. All right, we've got it all back together. We're gonna try to start it again, see if anything changed. I'm pretty doubtful because nothing was majorly wrong. I mean, there was some rust on the push rods, but it wasn't like, there wasn't much that was like, oh, that's obviously bad. So, you know, not gonna be too hopeful, but let's try it. Some sort of massive vacuum leak. I don't recall having that before. It is hissing. It's not there. I don't know. That's weird. I gotta figure out what that is. It is howling. Definitely seems better. Still clackety. It definitely sounds like valve train. So really the only other thing it could be would be lifters, which I gotta pull the heads off to figure that out. So I think we're gonna move on for now. But if I gotta pull the motor, I don't want to do all more work. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I gotta investigate further. It definitely seems better though. All right, drop the radiator in. Oh. This radiator mount is literally falling off. The weld's broken on this side, and then this side they just didn't weld it straight. I guess I could salvage this piece and just redo these. I just don't want to waste a bunch of flat bar because I have to cut it down the middle. Use this and then make new legs and cut them at an angle so that they actually fit up correctly. And chop these off because we don't need those. Let's get to it. All right, one thing we need to do, pull this janky oil cooler off. All right, cool, that's off. So at least we don't destroy it while plasma cutting it. Maybe somebody will want it, give it to them. Second time today, we're using the welding cart. I'm pretty proud of myself. And this thing, if you guys didn't see the build video on this, I'm really happy with how it came out, but it's been, the times I've used it so far, it's been useful and worked like I wanted to. It's really easy to get everything back on it. Everything kind of stays out of the way. It stays where it is. It rolls good. Look, it seems to work like I had hoped. So, happy about that. Alright, I got the majority of what I wanted to get off, so we're good there. So now we'll work on making the new mount. I need to try to get an idea, oh, this is going to be really tough, of what this angle is. Need a square. Alright, so it looks like we've got 98 to get this parallel with the square, and it's about 10 degrees, so we'll cut it at 10. That'll be pretty easy. There is a hole here, but it is kind of, like this one's cross-threaded pretty bad. So I'll probably just weld it on. There's not a huge reason to make it removable. You know, there's not really any need to remove it because you can remove the radiator without removing it. So we'll just weld it on. Man, that took quite a while. Alright, we got this cleaned up and ready to go. Now we just need to make our side pieces. I need to find the other ones. Get an idea of length. So about 5.5 inches. I just need to cut a 10-degree angle in this. Looks like that's gonna work just perfect. So I need to weld this out now. Alright, we need to test fit the radiator. I'm just going to make sure this is going to fit good before I weld it out. Beautiful. A lot more clearance. I'm good with that. Beautiful. Alright, well this thing came out pretty solid for some pretty dirty metal welding. Not too bad. These joints are pretty good. Still a little dirty, but not bad at all. This one up here was kind of a mess, but I welded it from both sides, so it's super stout. You throw a coat of paint on it and move on. Alright, let's make sure it still fits like a glove. So I will still need to make some upper mounts for this. Maybe we'll do it today. I don't know, it depends on how much time we have. But I've got some other projects I need to work on that are a little more pressing, so we're gonna work on those next. So this is hooked up. Pretty solid though, it's about as far back as it can get. We'll just need to make a little tab from basically somewhere in here to there. It's a lot better than it was before. It was pretty close to the balancer before because the bottom was out so far. So now we got a lot more room in there. Okay, so next order of business, alternator power wire. We have our wire going to the alternator from the engine harness, you know, to trigger it to turn on basically. But what we need to do next is take a power wire and go from the terminal on the back of the alternator to the starter so that it charges back to the battery. We've got some 6-gauge wire, copper lugs, terminals, and some solder. So I just buy like stuff like this in bulk on Amazon before I'm gonna need it, because I end up using it a bunch. And it's like, I think this was a 20 pack for the price of buying 1 or 2 at the auto parts store. So I just always try to preemptively order stuff like this, or if I order it for something, order, you know, extra, because it's almost the same cost and I always end up using it. Basically what we're gonna do is torch this end, fill it with solder, and stick the wire in. What I always end up doing, I forget about that method. I put the wire in, torch it, and fill it with solder, and it kind of ruins the sheathing on the wire, and it's just kind of a mess. So every time I do it, someone comments and says, dude, just fill it with solder, heat it up, push the wire in. So that's what we're gonna try this time. Never done it this way. Sandy came out to join us. This is the first time she's been out to the shop in a while. Sandy, it's dirty there. Miss hanging out in the garage. Do you wanna come supervise, or what's going on? Yeah, you just like let it cool when it's done. All right, we got one end made. Came out really nice. I just run the heat shrink full length just to give it a little more protection against fraying or rubbing on anything, because you definitely don't want this to short. So yeah, now we just need to kind of try to route it and see how long we need to make it and do the other end. All right, we got that wire installed and tidied up. You can kind of see it back there and right there. So that's good, because every time I start this thing, we're just running straight off battery. So it's just killing the battery. So now at least the battery will be charging anytime it's running. I got my, oh, geez, this is so tight. I got my gear oil for the diff. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I have ATF for this. It is always weird to me that T56s, even though they're manual trans, they take automatic transmission fluid. Just kind of throws me off every time. I gotta fill this up, fill the diff up, then we can get the car off the lift and finish up the last few things to take this thing for a rip. So wish me luck. Trans fluid is filled, diff fluid is filled. It actually had fluid in it, and I started to fill it. So I was like, oh, I'll just drain it, you know, because it's probably old fluid, and the fluid was like brand new. Didn't even need to drain it. Guess I probably should have checked that before I bought fluid and started filling it. But anyway, I think everything's done down here. I guess I'll tuck these up out of the way, not that they matter, because we're gonna take them out anyway. And yeah, gonna move up top. Finish up the last bit of stuff. All right, so one more little thing I need to do is shorten this line, because see how it's arched, the hood hits it. So I just need to shorten it up enough to where it's straight across. I was gonna make another one, but I don't have enough fittings to do so. All right, need some tape. Huh? I don't think I've ever, oh no, I got it stuck. I don't think I've ever taken apart a fitting and reused it. I'm not sure how this is gonna go. I think the hardest part's gonna be getting this sleeve out of here. The hose, rather. Oh, that was easy. All right, I blew this out with some compressed air. Very important. You do not want rubber chunks going through your fuel system. It wouldn't be that important pre-filter. I mean, it definitely, you don't want it, but this is all post-filter. So there's nothing to stop that from going in the injector, and it's a good way to trash an injector real quick. I often almost forget to do it, but you can't. All right, let's see how she fits. What do you think? You think we got it right on the first try? I tend to make things a little too long. Oh, still just a hair. It might be okay. Yeah, if we do it like that, we'll be good. I'm gonna try to get this dash to be a little less flimsy. I'm gonna try to brace it I don't know, across here, just try to give it some support back, because it is just, it's bad. For now, I just want to get this halfway okay. Eventually we'll find a new dash. Use this piece of flat bar here. This will make it a little shorter than that. All right, I got one bar in. I had to pre-drill the holes. The self-tappers weren't doing it on their own. I'm gonna try to put a bar here. All right, I got the holes pre-drilled. But it's definitely way sturdier. It's like actually kind of holding its shape now. It's tidying up the last bit of wiring. Oh, cool. Whoops. A little bit of a mess here that we'll have to take care of, but I want to kind of get the dash fit in here because I think this harness ends up in the way. I need to just cut that. So yeah, I want to get the dash in and then worry about cleaning up the wiring and routing stuff where it needs to go. Oh, sorry, knocked you guys down. Now I just want to find a better way to secure it. I'm going to 3D print a cover for the arc switch panel deal. It was already mounted there. I wanted to make it a little more accessible if it was going to be visible anyway. So like I said, my buddy drew up a cover for those. So I'm just going to print that and I'll have a cover there. But yeah, okay. So I just got to figure out a way to secure this where it's also not super floppy. I don't think that's going to be completely possible, but I want to get it as unfloppy as possible. Tied it in with these big zip ties. There's just no other way to mount it with the way it's cut up. But I mean, it's solid, especially with the bars reinforcing it. Definitely not the nicest thing in the world, but it will do. Mount this up. I've got to remake this seat mount. I got to make it to where I can move the seat further back and tilt it down, because I'm just like, you guys, some of you may know, I like being close to the wheel, but this is a little excessive. I'm literally like sitting on top of the wheel. I can barely, that's ridiculous. So, but it's getting there. It's got a dash in it. Screw that in. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right, this is it. Do you think it's gonna move under its own power? Well, it shuts. It's promising. All right, let's try it out. Listen, I was hoping that's all it was. It just needed to get some oil all the way through the system. No clackety clack, dude, hell yeah. It moved just fine, not a single issue. Clutch works, everything. I gotta turn it off. There's no coolant in there. We do need to figure out that. There is a massive vacuum leak. I don't know if it's one of the intake manifold gaskets got pinched or what's going on there. You can see the header wrap cooking. I'm hyped though. Did you see that? It ran, no clackety clack, moved under its own power, no problem. That is sick. That is freaking awesome, man. Whew, I'm stoked. Makes me very happy. The one thing we were waiting for that's making this not as drivable as I would like is the belt tensioner. So this is a weird kit where basically it's designed to use the truck crank pulley. So it's an F-body water pump and the alternators are all the same, I think, but it's spaced out for the truck crank pulley, which to me is kind of stupid because you can just buy an F-body pulley for like 60, 70 bucks. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't just do that. But anyway, because of that, none of the tensioners, I have a manual tensioner, spare one, and then I have like a truck tensioner, and like none of them will work. The offset isn't right. So I can't put a belt on it to spin the water pump till I figure that out. So I need to do that. But you know, if we had a belt on it and the water pump was running, I mean, we're good to go. Like everything else is solid. But it moved. It freaking moved. Also, I noticed when we drive, this is what's gonna happen. So yeah, making those brackets is pertinent. Man, I really wanted to drive it today. I was really amped to do so, but you know, I'm really happy with the fact that the clack went away and it moved. Like those two big things. I was really worried we were gonna pull this motor back out. I wasn't stressing it too much, but you know, I just was hoping that wouldn't have to happen. And it seems like it's good now. I shouldn't say that, but I'm hoping. I'm hopeful. So anyway, yeah, not much left. Really, guys, not much left at all. So my plan is next time, sort out the vacuum leak, belt tensioner, all that, brackets, tidy up the rest of the stuff, and go actually drive this thing. Not back it in and out of the shop, not drive it around the yard. Hopefully like go down, take it down the street, take it on a real drive, see how it is. So much as it disappoints me to disappoint you and in this video without an actual drive, it's just, you know, driving with no coolant in it, we can't go very far. We're just gonna drive around the yard, it's raining. You know, I don't know, probably not the best call. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. I will see you guys next time for an actual, real first drive. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. I'll see you then, goodbye.